Hey everyone, welcome. So today we are going to talk about honoring other people's boundaries. This is a really big thing. So if you've heard me, I believe I did a webinar on healthy boundaries and how to establish your own healthy boundaries. And there's a lot of information out there on doing that, but what there is not a lot of information on is how to honor other people's boundaries. You know, we just live in this world where it's just natural for us. We see everything through our experiences and our eyes, and not so much through the other person's. And even if you are trying really, really hard to see something through another person's eyes, you're still tainted by your own experiences in life. And so learning how to honor other people's boundaries is really important, and especially in our close relationships. So here's some examples. Like my kids are really fun. They're great. They're twins. You'd think they'd have a lot in common, but they are like polar opposites. My son loves to snuggle and cuddle. He loves touch. He loves to touch skin. He likes to be close. He likes to cuddle in tight for bedtime. My daughter, she does not. She likes to have a love here and there, but she's very free and independent, and she likes lots of space. When she goes to sleep, she likes her arms out, and she'll cuddle for a minute, but then she wants her space. So recognizing the two different boundaries for them, really important. Recognizing that son likes to be cuddled and touched, which is what I want to do, so we can meld and be good together. But respecting and honoring my daughter's personal boundaries, saying, yep, mom, you can have a little snuggle, but then I'm done, and then letting her go, and not forcing her and holding her and saying, no, you're going to sit here and snuggle me because that's what I want, and I know you need this. No, respecting and honoring her boundaries is so important. Another one might be, my husband loves to snow ski, and I don't. And so I did learn how when I was older, and I took lessons, and I've even took lessons and, been on the hill the same time as my husband, but it is just not something that I enjoy. And so him understanding, so great example here. So he said, yeah, I really want you to learn how to do this and do this with me. I want us to do it together. And so I'm saying, okay, I respect that this is something that's important to him, so I'm going to give it a try. And then him turning around and saying, okay, you gave it a try. I see that you don't love it. I respect that, and I let you move and do what you want to do, and I'm going to do what I want to do, and we're all going to be happy. Another one would be, so when we got together, I loved Zumba. I still love Zumba. I don't make it very often though. And so I was going 2 or 3 times a week, and he decided he wanted to be there with me. And so he came and did it a couple times and decided it was not for him. Now, I could have infringed on his boundaries and said, no, you're coming with me. You said you'd try it, and we're going to do it. But instead, I can honor and respect his boundaries and say, you know what? Thanks for giving it a try, and I love that you did that, and I respect that it's not for you, and go on your merry way, and thank you for allowing me to go and do this without you. Those are kind of simple things. Another one of boundaries that might be getting crossed when you're not respecting someone else's boundaries, this is one I see a lot, is it's kind of like it'll happen with colleagues or siblings or spouse or whatever, and they say, could you do XYZ? And the person that is being asked to do whatever it is, it doesn't work for them. It's out of their, out of their bubble. It's infringing on their boundaries, and so they're saying, yeah, no, I'm not going to be doing that, thanks. And then the first person will come in and say, well, why not? You should do it. And they question their no. Not the thing to do. That is infringing on someone else's boundaries. That is not honoring and respecting them. Now, you kind of have to take that with a grain of salt, because there does need to be, if we just were able to do whatever we want all the time, we probably wouldn't learn and grow. So you might want to spend a little, there's like a fine line there. But it's interesting, you can feel it. Have you ever oh, another great example. So a lot of this comes from how we are raised. So, you know, I'm raised in a family where we hug and kiss and snuggle and touch. And, you know, I have aunts and uncles that are just really snuggly, and grandma used to kiss us on the mouth, you know. And not every family is raised that way. So if I was to go and into a family situation and be huggy and snuggly and, you know, kissing people on the cheeks or the mouth or whatever, to a family that their closest thing to that is shaking hands, I am infringing on their boundaries. I am not honoring them. But you can tell as soon as you try to snuggle or cuddle or hug, you can feel them pull back. Really good example. This is a body language one. You can feel them physically pull back and be like, whoa, you entered my bubble. That's not going to be okay. So respecting and say, oh, I can feel that. Okay, I'm not going to let it go. Or I'm not going to go there. I'm going to shake your hand and be okay with that. We had a fun experience this weekend. My grandmother was visiting from California, and she's in her 90s. And so my siblings were all here with their kids, and we were all having a great time. And I was at my mom's house, and I'm sitting there with my sister-in-law and her son, my nephew, and he's 20-something. And his mom is kind of, you know, well, why won't you do that? You should do that. You really should do that. You really should do that. And my nephew just, I don't remember the whole gist of it, so this is me paraphrasing in my own head what happened, but he kind of just said, Mom, I'm not comfortable with this right now. And I thought, oh, wow, that's really great that you can stand up for yourself and say, okay, you just infringed on my personal boundaries, Mom, take a step back. And Mom, being the sweet, wonderful woman she was, recognized, oh, I just infringed. Okay, all right, son, we'll just move on to the next thing. Really great example. Now, not all of us are brave enough to say, you just overstepped my bounds and that's not okay. And we might be with our mother or our family member, but maybe not with a coworker or something. So how do we become the kind of people that respect other people's boundaries? I think the first thing we need to do is you actually have to listen and pay attention. So when you're talking to someone and you can feel and see that they are being infringed upon, you can see it. You know how you feel when someone infringes on your boundaries. So when you see that in someone else and you're really listening to care and hear what they say, you know when to stop, take a step back, and change the subject or apologize, whatever that be. The other thing is not to badger. It's kind of like bullying. And I've done it myself. I'm like, well, why don't you want to do that? Why don't you? You really should do it. It'd be so good for you. You know that. And I am guilty of this a lot. And, you know, the thing about it is it's not in their wheelhouse right now. And it's okay. It's okay to let someone live their own little path. And, you know, it's great to offer opportunity, but when they say no, accept it. Don't badger and bully. Accept it. And the third thing is to watch for body language. Like I mentioned about the, you know, the family values of huggy, kissy versus shaking hands. You know, you can really see body language probably better than words or anything else. And if you infringe on someone's boundaries, you'll see them take a step back. And so watch for that. Even just the subtle ones, they might even just move their head back a little bit or just pull their arms down or fold their arms. And there's all kinds of body language that you can watch for that says, oh, they just closed up. I just crossed a line. You know, your boundaries are like your fence that you keep around your house or your belongings or whatever that is. And if someone crosses that fence line, you know it. You know when someone crosses your fence. So think about how you feel and react and watch for that in others. So if you really want to become the kind of person that can have great relationships with everyone, then watch for those boundary infringements and honor those boundaries of others. Sometimes with our family members, our spouse, our kids, we think we know what's best for them. And we think that what we're offering or wanting them to do is it's best for you and me and our family. But what you have to remember is we're all individuals, and even your kids, they come with certain things that aren't, that, they arrive in on this planet with things that maybe weren't brought up in your family. You need to respect that and honor that, and really find the good in those things. So move forward, watch for those signs of infringing on boundaries, and really learn to respect and honor other people's boundaries, and just see how great your relationships become. Thanks for joining me today. Bye-bye.